Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Racekraft Simulations V8 Veterans Season 23, Round 9 race for Split 2 here this evening out at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, also known as Interlagos here this evening. I'm your commentator Hamish Munro, to be joined by Brett Fisher here this evening. Before we start though, our normal and regular proceedings here tonight, we just wanted to take the time to mention somebody out to everyone out there who may not be aware, of course. Long-time viewers of the Vets, especially those who have been involved in the live chats here for Split 2, Split 3 and Split 4, would recognise Dane Palmer, Andrew Hoffman's nephew, who has been fighting in Ukraine for the past few years. Unfortunately, he passed away the other day in a rescue mission out there. So for myself, Brett and the rest of the league, we wanted to take this time to give our condolences to Dane's family, to Andrew and to everyone in the league who may be affected by this. And we'd like to take this time now to have a minute's silence in memoriam of Dane Andrew Palmer. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, my name is Hamish Munro, joined tonight once again by the great Brett Fisher alongside. Brett, hope everyone brought their brollies with them. I hope they brought their undercover areas, their flippers, their floaties, whatever it may be. I hope they've been to their swimming lessons as well, because tonight in Interlagos, we've got the most Brazilian weather we could ask for here at this race. No, we don't have sunshine and beautiful tanning opportunities. We are in for our wet race of the season. In a drying track scenario for these drivers, it has been pouring down, absolutely pouring down during practice, and as the drivers are getting into qualifying, the track is only just beginning to get dry. But first of all, Brett, how are you? Second of all, how are these drivers going to go tonight, having to figure out when is the changeover point to change those tyres, and who's going to pick the strategy perfectly, because this could make or break the championship for our top 5 contenders of Ricky Hyde, Matt Muggleton, Sean Vandermill and Andrew Rushworth and Jim Caparonis.
Well, as I've said all this season, we're in for a cracker, but this one's going to be a wet cracker.
So we're in for a soggy biscuit, or?
Well, I wasn't going to go to where everyone probably thinks it's going to go, but yeah. But no, tonight is going to be an epic battle. First time we see rain on the iRacing V8 Vets. And it's going to be, a wet cracker tonight. I'll tell you that right now. I'm pumped to see how this all rolls out.
I am as well. First time we're seeing it in the main game. It was seen in the over 50 series back at, I think it was either Donington Park or Mid-Ohio. One of the two. I can't remember now, to be honest with you. But, we have seen it prior in the over 50 series, but it's the first time for the main game tonight that we get to see wet track conditions for these drivers. Let's have a quick gander at the beautiful Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache here, Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Of course, who can forget memories of Ayrton Senna racing around here? Who can forget the Is That Glock moment in the 2008 Formula One Championship when Lewis Hamilton won his first title out of the clutches of the Brazilian fans, out of the clutches of Felipe Massa as well. So trickle our way on down to this beautiful part of the world. I am one of those believers, Brett, that this should be the circuit that ends out the Formula One Championship, but of course money talks. And oil money will talk a lot. But we started on the start straight. It is a very odd circuit because it is not clockwise. It is an anti-clockwise circuit. And we'll start out on the main straight, head down towards turn 1, turn 2 for the center S's, and then down through 3 as well. This is our first little hotspot of the night. As the track begins to dry and the drivers are still on that dry line, they need to be careful of going onto the wet line if they've moved over to slicks, because they're not going to have any grip under brakes coming into this section. And it's not a very long runoff, Brett, and it could be very, very slippery on the edge of track when you end up into that AstroTurf on the outside. So drivers are going to have to be cautious through there. It could be an early spot for a safety car as well if there's a bit of carnage early on the race when all the cars are together off the start line as well. So we'll need to be keeping an eye on that. The exit of 3, especially dangerous in the wet, not just in the drying conditions, but in the wet conditions as well, because of the painted lines, the curb, and the AstroTurf on the exit of the corner. We can very easily see cars heading into the grass and then heading straight back across the track again in towards the wall at the pit exit on the left-hand side. But if you can get a run through here nicely, you can set yourself up well down Rita Oposta and down towards turn 4, where you have actually got an overtaking opportunity. Now, it'll only be an overtaking opportunity, just like turn 1, either at the start of the race, Brett, when the drivers are still on wet tyres, or towards the end of the race when the track has nicely dried out and those dry tyres or those slicks can finally get grip on offline down there at 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, any of the green sections, and actually pretty much anything off track or out of the tram lines as they start and dry, is pretty much just going to be ice. I mean, I've seen, when I was in practice and things like that, as soon as you hit off there, you just started actually accelerating in speed instead of slowing down, and you just shot off. And I'll just leave you to pronounce all those corners because I've got no idea. Actually, Center S, Center S's is probably about the only one I've got. Well,
there is the Gestiga do Lago for turn 5. Ferradura for turn 6, Curva do Langio for turns 7 as well, then up towards turn 8. So this little section here could be quite difficult for drivers, especially in these wet conditions. Very slippery through here, even in the dry. So they're going to have to be cautious. Very easy to get sort of overlapped through 5 and up towards 6. So we'll need to be keeping an eye on that. If you can get yourself up nicely up towards turn 8, you can then come down through Pinarino for turn 9 and up towards turn 10 at Bico de Pato, where you can get an overtaking opportunity done in the dry. I don't think it's going to happen in the wet. I think it's going to be a little bit too slick. It's uphill from 9, over the crest, and a blind braking zone for 10, so it's not going to be, unless you got big balls, you're not going to be able to really go for it through that section there. Then down through Maclilio for turn 11, up towards Juncao for turn 12 as well. Normally drivers would have to be cautious on the outside line, even in the dry, but in the wet especially, running it out way too wide towards the entry at 12, because it's very, very slick out there on the AstroTurf. And then again on the exit of 12 at Juncao for the bump in the road right on exit as well. So drivers are going to have to be cautious of that. They're going to have to be cautious of the puddling around the circuit. Hopefully the dry line will form more so on the go-kart line more so than the inside, because a lot of the insides of the corners will actually pull up with water. You then run up through 13 and then 14, and then for I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, I'll be honest with you. I can pronounce most Portuguese words, but that is ludicrous without having my Portuguese friend help me. And then up towards the line as well. Arquibanchadas is probably what it is. Arquibanchadas for turn 15. But I think so the interesting part will be is the mid part of the circuit it may begin to dry out before the run from 1 down towards turn 5. So between turns 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 could dry out before sort of the rest of the circuit can, and that may then lead to some drivers deciding to go for those wet tyres, or for those dry tyres, sorry. So we'll see how it pans out for the drivers here tonight. We'll see how the strategy pans out as well. Drivers are currently in qualifying, but thanks to the magic of it being a replay file, we can actually skip the session to go straight to the warm-up as drivers will begin to get out there. But, I mean, it doesn't look very grey out there at the moment. I can say that. Does not look very grey as we get into the warm-up session, but the track is very, very wet, and drivers are going to have to try and, if they can, which a lot of them are going out there, and this is the smart play that I think it's more or less a gentleman's agreement amongst the field of, get out there, do as many laps as you can in the warm-up, because the more water you can displace off the road means the quicker, not just you, but the rest of the field, the quicker everyone can get onto dry tyres, and that'll be a benefit. So the more practice laps that were done, the more qualifying laps that were done, every driver gets 3 laps. There was 30-odd drivers in the field, so that's 90 laps in qualifying, and then warm-up as well. That's more water that can be dispersed, which means quicker we can get on the dry tyres, and the quicker we can get some carnage as well, Brett.
Well, you talk about balls before, and I'll tell you what, when I was on this track, my balls were royally tucked because, like it was, you sort of put a foot wrong and you're off. You accelerate too hard, you're off. And then you put, what I mean, you say 36 drivers, 36 other cars around you. And everyone was going to, make up positions and, attack when they can, all sorts of stuff. And it's just, I found like the concentration level doubled, just to try and keep the car on track and going forward and just trying to sort of keep yourself out of trouble.
So what can this guy do tonight? Matt Muggleton. He's out there with a vengeance. 3 wins, leads the championship. He arguably could have challenged for it last season without having to go get surgery. This season he gets a full stint in, a full innings, and he's right there in the hunt for the title race. He leads the title race coming into this race tonight, needs a good finish if he hopes to hold on to the orange number going into the final round of the season at VIR next week. But what can he do? I am also going to apologise as well, just off the bat. The file will have a little bit of stuttering throughout especially the wet portion of the race, and if there's any safety cars, because unfortunately there was so many cars on track with that amount of spray, they just my CPU could not handle it on Thursday, but it's not as bad as what my file would have been for Motorsport, so I decided we'll just keep this one as is. So we will have to deal with a little bit of stuttering in the first half of the race. The last half of the race is fine because it's dry and there's no spray. But I have not revealed when the dry changeover will be.
Yeah, it just adds to the complexity of watching the race as well as actually being at the race, So at least all these curveballs get thrown. Let's talk about more balls. But yeah, I wonder how everyone. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I would assume most people would try to do some testing, see where the crossover period was for dry tyres. I know boys in Shadow Racing and I did a lot of laps and things like that to try and figure out when the best time to go to dries were. But like we talked about earlier, it's a very thin tram track, and as soon as you got off that track, you got very, very skaty.
I do think it will be in the first half of the race, for sure. I don't think we're going to go past maybe lap 25 for the changeover, just based on the fact of when the rain actually stopped. It stopped basically halfway through qualifying. So we've had a good sort of hour or so in the session where there's been no rain. So, and with so many cars on track, and if they can all stay on track and we can keep on traversing, preferably at full pace, because full pace will disperse the water quicker than under safety car, then the quicker again that the changeover period will be. But I think I won't be surprised if we see a couple of drivers maybe go for dry tyres in the first stop, if they go long. Because again, the cleaner the race is at the start means we're going to get to a sooner changeover, and if they're willing to stick to the drying line, then it could pay off very big dividends for them.
Oh, it certainly will. And just looking at the championship contenders, this is a pretty critical race, you know, and so this puts a lot of pressure on all of the contenders for the season. So, everyone going to this round, coming on wets and all sorts of stuff, they're going to want to try and make sure that they get a good run, bag some plenty of points and everything like that. And so there's a lot of pressure going on this race tonight.
So, of course, this is the final droppable round of the season. For those that are out there, all 5 of our contenders are in the race tonight. Vandermeer, Muggleton, Caperonis, Rushworth and Ricky Hyde as well. As we came into this race, they only counted 1 drop round. But if you count 2, Muggleton does lead the championship. If you only count 1, the Ricky Hyde does. So after tonight's race, we're going to get a pretty clear-cut idea of who is within this championship fight, who is nice and close. A strong performance tonight is going to be crucial for those drivers, and the wet race could not have come at a worse time for them, because for some drivers they've already taken 2 drop rounds, some have already taken 1, so they have got 1 in the back pocket, but it's going to put pressure on some drivers now, and they're going to have to try and perform tonight. It's not going to be worth trying to go for a risk in this race, especially. You want to try and run as clean and cool, calm, and collected race as possible. But as we get into our starting grid for tonight's race, Jim Caperonis, the driver who won round 1 at Sebring, will start pole position alongside the championship leader Matt Muggleton on the front row of the grid. Hallel says and Matt Stoyles then start on the second row. Great qualifying from them. They'll start just ahead of Andrew Rushworth, who will be alone on the third row of the grid as Mikey Harland has a pit lane start here this evening. Simon Heddershee and Alistair Bales will then start on the 4th row with Chris Blanchard and Sean Vandermillen inside of the top 10. 4 of the 5 championship contenders qualified inside of the top 10 here tonight, as Brett Fisher and Mick Clifton then made up the 6th row in behind them. Matt Scholes, Shane Randall will start ahead of Reese Degoe and Paul Burns. Rick Varga and Simon Haynes with Dave Arney and Scott Weston for your top 20. Peter Baxter, Brett Taylor, Damon Fisher and Andrew Hoffman for the top 24, with Todd Duggan and Adrian Zeal, Sean Cullen, Dirk Lovegrove, and then Matt Monday and Brenton O'Brien for our top 30 here tonight. Tim Mulford, Jason Fewens and Richard Burrell, the last of the drivers to set times in qualifying. And all the way down the back is Ricky Hyde, one of our championship contenders here tonight. And I've been keeping an eye on a couple of the teams out there, Brett, and there are a couple who have currently got dry tyres on their cars. And you want to know the names of those drivers?
Well, I know one of them.
Yes.
I know Damon Fisher started on dries accidentally.
Yep, and there is another set of drivers as well from a little old team called 801 Sim Sports. And for those who paid attention this season, that is the team that Ricky Hyde races for. Matt Scholes and Ricky Hyde. Yep, Matt Scholes and Ricky Hyde are starting on dry tyres, which is a very, very bold play, especially from Ricky starting at the back of the field. But, I mean, fair play. He didn't get a qualifying time in. You might as well go, go balls to the wall. He might have a drop round in his back pocket, so you might as well go for it.
This is the balls round, isn't it?
It really is.
Just about to say,
It really is.
The guys on dry tyres are ballsy.
Didn't you know that the word Interlagos in Portuguese means balls? Didn't you know that, Brett?
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
No, I didn't know.
It doesn't.
Anyway,
It doesn't actually. It doesn't actually.
No, well, let's just go with it.
Yeah. Maybe we should.
Everyone, balls to everyone.
We'll await, though, the lights to go up for these drivers here this evening as their revs will begin to rise shortly. And we're just going to see a wall of spray come off the line because it is still a wet track. Those who are in the odd number positions inside the top 10, they're in the beneficiary at the moment because they are on the drying line off the start as we are underway at Interlagos. And the carnage and chaos ensues. You can see Hedersheed getting loose off the start. Muggleton already into the lead of this race. And as drivers come through 1 and 2, we need to keep an eye on any chaos that could occur. We can see Skulls is struggling for grip. We mentioned he's on the dry tyres early. So this already is not seeming like it's going to pay off for him as Randall will look to power on his inside on the wets just alongside him here down the straight. But further up the field, Muggleton had an immense start off the line. Great pace already. Caparonis P2. Stoyles got the start well there, ahead of Cesar. And then Hedersheed in the 5, who really lit it up off the start line as well as we run up the hill.
Left, didn't he?
He did.
He darted to the left on that start, so he's obviously struggled with the start a little bit there, but mostly all clean, as we see a couple of little stutters here just for a second. But Hal Cesar just having a bit of... Is that Brett Taylor?
No, it's Matt Stoyles just ahead of him.
Matt Stoyles, sorry. Yeah, he was getting fairly close to Stoyles in front of him.
And you can just see the you can just see as well the puddling on the inside of the corners there, right on the curbs. Best case scenario is you just avoid the curbs like it's nobody's business. You pretty much want to avoid it like your ex-wife's alimony lawyer, pretty much. I mean, just stay away. Do not go near it, because it's gonna end up in tears for you, and you don't want that, especially in a wet race like this. Because honestly, it's so demoralizing to make a mistake in a wet race because you already feel on edge at the start because you don't want to make... And then you make a mistake and then it's like, oh, now I've got to try and come back and not make a mistake. It's so tough to do it.
Well, I mean, we talk about minimising mistakes in races all the time, and I'll tell you what, this race is one of minimising mistakes, but we've got a car off there.
As Paul Burns off the road. We've also had a message here from Ricky Hyde. PC Froze had to re-download iRacing 45 minutes prior to the race. He made it back in time for the warm-up, hence why he missed qualifying. So tough night for not only the 801 Sim Racing crew, but Ricky Hyde as well. So he's going to have to try and fight back through this race.
Yeah, that'll be a big fight for him.
I'd also like to point out as well, I mentioned Andrew Rushworth. He unfortunately dropped out right as the gridding was setting of the session and has only just rejoined and is on the circuit. He is still... he is a lap down at this point, but first safety car, he will get back on the lead lap, but it's going to be a fight upwards for him here this evening to try and get back up the order. But if he can't make his way up the order, it is going to be tough for him throughout this race for sure. Oh,
100%. But I mean, there's still the top. I mean, there's a lot of still battling going on track here, and no one's run away immensely. Sean Van Meulen's he's about nearly 2.5 seconds off the back of Cesar.
Great start from him, up 5 positions as well. Just to confirm, have you now got sound, Brett?
No.
What? I did it.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh. Must be me.
Hang on.
Doesn't matter.
I will fix. Hang on.
Okay, cool.
Let me work on this.
So we just got Van Meulen still tracking out there. So Blanchard right on his heels at the moment. And I tell you, once you get in that little bit of straight behind the car, especially in the early days, geez, you can't see much. And so you've got to just poke the nose out so you can actually see where your braking markers are.
Can I quickly confirm as well, Brett? Are you both watching the stream and my virtual camera?
I don't know what I'm watching. I'm watching something.
Both are there. Both are there because the stream has all my OBS and my virtual camera is just the race. So if you click on the stream, That'll give you sound and the virtual camera so you have the nice big picture.
Okay. Here we go. Yep, cool. Got it now.
Very good.
Gotcha.
Just to confirm,
That was my
Andrew,
bad. Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. Just to confirm, Andrew, you are currently a lap down because Muggleton has just started his third lap and you're only about to just start your second lap. So you are a lap down at this point. But plenty of racing to go. And even though we've been pretty clean on this first few laps here, Brett, you feel like the safety car's coming, don't you? Knowing how chaotic the other 3 splits were, you have a feeling that the safety car is not too far away.
We've already seen a few people in pits too, Skulls and Hyde.
And well, of course, Skulls had to come in to change to wet tyres. Hyde's had to come in to change to wet tyres. Same with Damon. And both Skulls and Hyde, though, waited until it was counted as a CPS, where Damon didn't. So Damon is still going to have to do 2 stops in this race. So this is going to be tough going. Oh, no, it's just fixed itself, Andrew. I'll tell you that right now. It has just fixed itself. So STK was having a timing issue. You are not a lap down. So there we go.
All sorted. Third lap of 47 here at Interlagos. That's about the only one I can pronounce. So Caparonis right on the back of Muggleton here. He's having a bit of a crack there.
And of course, Kappa will be trying to... he'll be trying to come back after the mistake last week that cost him the win. He'll want to make up for it tonight. He managed to finish ahead of Muggleton last week at Daytona. Would love to do it again tonight, especially as a maximum to be the second driver to take 2 wins this season. Muggleton's still the only one to be a multiple-time winner this season.
Look at the wheel work in Jim's cockpit at the moment. Now, Jim was quick in practice, so he's obviously in second spot at the moment. So he really wanted to consolidate this round to try and help his championship fight. So he's right on his tippy toes, and he's actually not holding back at all. He's within 0.2 of a second off Muggleton at the moment.
And he's hot on his heels. Caparonis did set the fastest lap of the race last time by a 146.64 was the lap time of Caparonis. Muggleton's last lap was a 147.63. So Caparonis was basically a full second faster than Matt Muggleton as they come up and around thanks to the driver's eye.
And this is the hard part too. You know, Jim might have speed to burn, but he can't, you know, he can try all these sort of different things to get past, but you can't risk yourself of losing control. Big slide there by Jim.
Big old slide by Jim. I mean, that there was fantastic wheel work from him.
Yeah, I found coming through this section of the track, and especially up here, I was almost sideways through the whole thing. It was sort of speedway stuff.
See as well, Blanchard trying to follow Van der Meulen through. As we said, Van der Meulen up 5, Blanchard already up 3 in this race. Says is still trying to get past Stoyles up ahead.
Yeah, Clifton on the back end of myself there.
Had a good start here, Brett. Up 2, qualified in the top 15.
Yeah. I was happy with that.
You've done well.
Surprised, actually.
Yeah, you've done well. Yourself and Mick up 2, Randall's up 2, DeGoey's up 4, Haynes up 5, Baxter up 7. The biggest mover thus far is Matty Monday. He's up 11 positions at the moment into P18, an incredible effort. I mean, it makes sense. Fishy Motorsports, we're in a wet race. He's just swimming along.
Oh, yeah. He's just doing it. This is just his natural
I know.
Natural environment.
I forgot, we mentioned last week that the drivers who are going to do well this week are the Tasmanians and the Kiwis. I mean, look at Matt Muggleton in P1, Tasmanian, wet conditions, of course. But we forgot about the fishy driver of Matt Monday and how this is his legitimate natural habitat. So,
or just watching Jim slide wide on that corner there. So he's dropped off about a second behind him now.
You can see Cesar already putting the pressure on Stoyles. They've got the lap traffic of Paul Burns just ahead of them of 801 Sim Sports just there. So they'll try and get past him pretty swiftly. As Rick Feiger and Dave Arney have been off track there. So bit of biffing and barging here between some drivers. It's actually Scott Weston and Rick Feiger, sorry. Down there. Bit of biffing and barging.
Name wrong.
Oh, how dare I. Across the thousands of names that I've had to call and across my now 99 Vets races I've called. How dare I.
Almost 100.
Next week is my 100th race. I hope Reg James makes me a graphic for next week. I'll feel like one of the
Oh, there
drivers
you
and
go.
get my 100 race starts for myself. That'd be nice.
That'd be good. 100 race calls.
Yeah, there we go. 100 race calls.
Look at the different, just the different lines coming through that corner there too. You know, like so. It's interesting how there's different approaches to each of these corners.
We've got Gary Buckland in the chat with us tonight as well. Brett, former Split 2 driver. Great to have you out there, Gary. So I didn't drive. I just noticed that. Blanchard is under pressure from Heddersheed.
Yeah.
Again, though, Heddersheed, a Kiwi, doing well in the wet conditions.
Yep.
It's stereotypical, but unfortunately, they are living the stereotype at the moment.
Oh, that's okay.
So
got to live something.
Oh, I also forgot to mention as well, the Fishers. You're doing well, Brett, because you're in your natural habitat.
Yes. Yep. Just keep swimming.
Yep.
Looks like I'm a bit of a block in the
Bit of a cork in the bottle
road at
here.
the moment. Bit of a cork in the bottle. But look, for me out there, I was basically just eyes forward, concentrate to put the car where I want to. And if you want to get past me, you're going to have to make a move because, say, like I'm not going too far off that line. It's probably not doing the ideal line on a wet tyre, but I just felt comfortable where I was placing the car, and I was just hoping to get through the whole race.
You're doing very well.
Mick Clifton, he's given me a bit of carry. I know he was quick, and he made a few attempts to try and come up past us, and yeah.
He's doing
Jim Cabaronis
very well.
making the fastest lap of the race.
Yep, another one for Jim. I have a question. If Jim wins tonight, are we officially changing his name to Jim Kipperonis since he'll win in the wet?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Jim that. It'll be chubby fish burgers.
Of course, Jim had a birthday earlier in the week. His 60th birthday. So happy birthday to Jim for the other day.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Big 6-0 for him. So, of course, he'd love to have a championship go with that. He needs a strong finish tonight, though, to really solidify his place in the championship standings. He has had 2 droppable rounds thus far this season, so he needs a strong performance tonight. If he has a poor run, it's really going to put him on the back foot for VIR
he's
next
there.
week.
He's there in second spot. I mean, to me, at this stage, you've just got to, head down, bum up, and just keep pushing forward. Like, you've got the pace, Jim. Just keep it going. You're actually pulling a gap. I mean, look at the gap to Stoyles, nearly 7.5 seconds. So he's sort of sitting in the box seat at the moment.
He is. There's zippy fly fisherman Adrian Zeal battling away with Derek Lovegrove at the moment. I'm going to try and get as many water references as I can before we go to dry
Oh,
tyres,
go for it. Yeah.
He's having a good battle here.
You got to get him. You just got to flush it all out.
I do.
Hamish. Haynes on the back of Randall at the moment. He's under half a second off the back of Randall.
Yeah,
Clifton off about half a second off the back of myself. So there's a few battles going up and down the field.
Oh, big old slide from Hainesy into turn 12. There's a good drift from him. Kept it going.
Clifton looks like he's having a bit of a look on the inside of me there. It's a bit sideways there. Look at that spray coming off the cars.
It is. I mean, it's almost like oil, especially in the very, very torrential rain. You cannot see a thing through the spray. It is ridiculous. But we can see though the spray is starting to wane at some parts of the circuit. So at the Exeter 1 there was a bit less spray. I noticed at the mid part of the circuit there was a little bit less spray as well. So there's definitely water being dispersed away off the dry line. So it is beginning to form. We're only on lap 8 of 47. But I think the feeling and thought of drivers going onto dry tyres for the very first stop, if they go to the end of the tank around about lap 15, it could be on for only one stint of wets here tonight.
Yeah, it's touch and go, isn't it? Like, you can still see. I mean, I don't know whether visually in the car it was probably showing exactly what it was feeling like. As you see DeGoey on the back of Clifton at the moment, he's having a good little run on him. And I was just noticing before, Dave Arney having a good run on the back of Baxter, and Fewens on the back of O'Brien as well. So, and it only takes a couple little mistakes like we saw there. Just the car stepping out sideways, and the car behind you can take a big advantage of that. close that gap right up.
Here's the battle of Arnie and Baxter. At the moment, Matt Muggleton sets the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, 146.3 across the line. Now Caperonis 145.99. So the track is getting faster and faster.
Yep, definitely getting faster.
As Cesar gets the job done on Stoyles down the front straight as well. So Cesar onto the podium in the Cooler Master entry. And now past Matt Stoyles back to where he started the race in P3. There's Vandermeulen though.
Dave Arnie closing big time on Baxter. Sorry. Is he going to go for a move here? Is he just up on? No, he didn't quite get the car up on the inside there.
And up a bit
the old
further
Pelican,
ahead.
he'd be pretty.
The Pelicans, the PR cars would be. Yeah, that's right. Actually, the Pelicans would be pretty good this week. So Arnie, of course, here in split 2. I know John Gallen and Stephen Banks in split 1. Might even be another driver in split 1 of PR. Can't quite remember, to be honest with you. There's this battle with Mick Clifton and Shane Randall now goes on. There's a bit of damage on Mick's car. Has he made contact with you at this point, Brett?
Yes. Okay. Unfortunately, he just touched the outside going into turn 1 and had the car sideways, couldn't pull it up, and went scooting up the inside of me, and we both hit nose to tail, and we both got around that corner okay-ish, and we're able to live another day. But race to go, we got past us at that point through turn 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, but that's okay. We're all still on track.
So Randall and Haynes have now made their way past Mick Clifton as Peter Baxter and Dave Arnie have now caught up to the back of the Accelerate Sim Racing car. Let's check in on Mick Clifton's season 24 new teammate Andrew Rushworth. He's already up now to P27 on his charge through the field on the heels of Richard Barella here. He is absolutely flying. He's got some great pace in this car. If he can keep this clean, I mean, it's a long race, could be quite carnage filled, especially at the changeover point when drivers go onto slicks. If he can keep this clean, he could very well fight his way forward up towards the top 10, which he needs to. He needs to finish up there. He cannot afford a poor finish tonight. He needs a good finish to put the pressure on the other championship contenders.
Well, he's trying to make his rush worth it. No?
I don't know.
Silence?
I don't know if I should pay that one, Brett.
No, I don't pay it. I don't care. I'm the king of dad jokes. Very ordinary. That's about as good as I got.
Oh my God.
Vandermeulen, Hedersheet's got in front of Vandermeulen too. So Vandermeulen goes back to 6. Hedersheet up in to 5th now.
Yeah, Simon's showing he's got some good pace. I mean, I've been a big believer. No, it was a good one, to be fair. I've been a big believer for a long time. If Simon could get a full season under his belt, where he drives mistake free, he is a championship challenger. I'm still under that belief. Simon has got some great pace, and on his best day, he is better than a lot of drivers in the field. There's just some days that he struggles on track, and he can't make all the races, of course, because of work commitments and stuff like that. So
makes it hard, doesn't it?
It does.
Makes it incredibly hard. Yeah.
But
I mean, you want to be out there turning laps. I mean, a race is going to race.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, Jason Fewens, he can't race every week. So whenever he can race, he has a proper crack whenever he can. As Bales is looking up on the inside of Blanchard here at turn 1.
Can he get it done? Yes. So far, 11 laps of 47, so we're going well here.
Yeah,
We've had a couple of people slide off track and things like that, but no safety cars so far, so it's good. Baylor's having a good crack at Blanchard here, though. And it was just, I sort of, when I got
he wants
close
it.
to the car in front of us,
Yeah.
I just sort of like, I just couldn't drive 10 tenths, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether I could drive 10 tenths anyway, but...
I mean, it's like you're behind a car, you're thinking about, it's a wet track, don't want to make a mistake, it's very, very slick. To be perfectly honest, though, if you're on the wets and you avoid the curbs and you avoid the painted lines, you're perfectly fine racing in the wet. If you can just keep it on the tarmac, you're fine. It's when you're on the dries. That's the real stress builder. Is when you're on dry tires. Because you're waiting for it to dry enough that you can go offline and put some attacks on drivers. So those who do go early, as I think that was Rick Feiger, then he had a minor little slide. He's kept it going, which is good to see. But yeah, those drivers who may go for slicks early, those are going to be the drivers who are going to have to be the most patient, because they're going to have the pace advantage, but they're not going to be able to go offline to make moves. They're going to have to rely either on a bit of work from the car ahead of them, or that they can get the move done before the braking zone of the corner, so they can get straight back onto the dry line when they get under brakes.
And even then, it's touchy, because it doesn't take much to unsettle a car at all. And the sponsorship on Pete Baxter's car too. You got to remember that fishing charters, isn't it?
I think so. As Jim Caporodis sets another fast up the race, 145.23. So we are getting closer and closer to changeover period now with these lap times. Mid-40s here, of course. It's sort of mid to high 30s is the dry time. So when you get within around about 3 to 5 seconds of dry times, that's when you know you're at the changeover point of the race. So we are getting closer and closer to that point. Right now, for me, Percy, probably a bit too risky for dries here on lap 12. If you're planning on going to 15, I think it's worth the risk. So if you're going to come in on 15, you take the dries at that point.
Yeah, would you come in early, and just risk those extra couple of laps on dries?
I don't know if it's worth it, because then you're also going to risk ending up behind cars on wet tyres, and you can't go past them, and you're just going to get held up.
That's right, yeah, and to be quite honest, if you're only doing another 2 or 3 laps on wets, burn them up. I mean,
exactly.
I think that would be the safer option, but yeah.
Well, no,
he's pushing hard. The car's stepping out sideways, so he's really pushing.
He is.
Mikey Harlan just done the fastest lap of the race too, at 144.
144. Now, Mikey was dealing with some apparent internet issues during the race. He's had to come in, try and fix his internet, and get back out on track, as Muggleton has entered pit lane. So the first of the pit stoppers are in as Matt Muggleton enters down pit lane. Now, it's a short pit lane here. Very, very quick traverse. It's a very tight pit exit, though. So as he goes up onto the jacks, tyres are getting changed.
Header sheet in, Caesar in.
Dry tyres for Matt Muggleton going onto the car. So Matt is going for the dries on the first stop. Does Cesar go with him here on dries? I feel he may do. I reckon Halil will have enough faith in the driving ability to go onto dries and try and survive the next sort of 3 or 5 laps in these wet conditions as Muggleton exits. So let's watch now the sort of pace that Muggleton has, because he's on these dries. There's that tight exit that I mentioned, very tight. As soon as you exit into the fast lane, you've then got to try and get the thing pulled up, get it turned as well. Very tough, because of course, Brett, the pits are not dry. Of course, hardly anyone's driven through pits, so they're still wet. So because Muggleton's now on dries, he has to get straight over to that dry line, and there are a couple of patchy spots around the circuit which are still wet, so he is going to be skating this thing around Interlagos for probably the next 5 laps or so.
And you don't get much warning when you get, look at him out there. You don't get much warning when you get out there. It just gets skatey, and you just know it straight away that you've gone into the wet, and it's all getting a bit loose.
Oh, indeed.
Can you catch it? That's the other thing too, because it snaps around real quick, or you get that understeer, and it can just take you further off into the. Look at the water on the inside of that turn there.
So let's give a benchmark here. Let's look at maybe yourself, Brett. Maybe yourself, Shane, and Simon. Matt's about 12 seconds back, right, off this battle pack here. Let's just see how quickly he can catch this battle pack across the next few laps before these guys eventually come in, because we've only got about...
Bale's in pits?
Yeah, Bale's in. So we've only got about 2 laps left before drivers are going to have to come in, because the fuel won't take them any further. So let's just see how quickly he catches, because that will tell us if the slicks were the correct call. Now, obviously, if he's catching by like 5 seconds a lap, well, then you know it's dry tyre season. Or if he's only catching by maybe a second or 2, you can get away with wets again, but how long can you get
Yeah.
away with wets again?
Well,
You know,
that's
the
right. You're going to
question.
burn them up in it. And that's the thing is, and that's what I was thinking, you know, when I was out there, I was thinking, is it dry enough? You know, like, do I go to dries? I had a feeling that people were going to dries, obviously, because your spotter tells you they're going to dries. And, you know, I'm going, do I go to dries? Is it too early? But the majority of the field were going to dry, so I thought, you know what, the track's drying out. There's a lot of cars out here, and it's got to be getting drier and drier after that.
We can see here up at turn 8 area, minimal spray up here towards 10, and then as you start to go back up towards 10, that's where the spray starts to come out again. But there is definitely a visual drying line starting to form, especially at these sort of higher points of the track. But especially, you know, because of the draining of the track, of course, the corners that are at the bottom of slopes, they're going to be the wettest still. So, you know, turn 2, 3, turn 11, turn 12 as Kappa comes in, Stoyles in 2.
Stoyles in pits.
So yeah, so those corners at the
Haynes having a bit of a look at Randall there.
He wants to get this done if he can get past him. We might even see him dart in just to avoid getting held up by Shane here. But I think oh no, they're going to keep going. No, it's not lap 15. Sorry, I think it might be 17 that they can get to actually. Now that I think
Dave
about
Barney in pits, DeGoey in pits.
Stoyles, Vandermeulen in as well, Duggan in, Taylor. So a couple more drivers entering pit lane. Where is Mr. Muggleton? Well, he is 5 seconds off the back of this battle pack now. And how many laps has he been out there? He pit on lap 12. He came out. He did a 142.86 in the last lap. To give reference, yourself, Shane, and Haynes did 46s. So I think we can positively say dry tyres are the way. They are the way right now. I do think we are in those intermediate tyre sort of area where if we had inters, you'd go on them now because it's still a bit wet at some corners, but it's definitely dry at others. So you can get away with both, but the dries have definitely got the most pace.
Well, I think it's also a discipline thing too, as we see Haynes right on the back of Randall is continuing to try and fight him there. But it's sort of like to know yourself as a driver, you know, like are you prone to make a couple of mistakes where you're wet tyre at the moment, we're still going to be a little bit forgiving. But if Matt Muggleton is happy to, you know, he knows he's going to be pinpoint accurate, he's going to minimise his mistakes. You know, he's going to relish on a dry tyre. As we see, Haynes on the outside of Randall. He must have had a bit of a look there. Clifton tucked right up behind as well as Baxter. So this pack is really heating up.
Blanchard's in as well after taking the lead on the last lap. To give reference here, Matt Muggleton, Jim Caparonis. Caparonis is 8 seconds off the back of Matt Muggleton. As Muggleton is getting past Viger as all these cars come into pit lane.
Yeah.
So this is about the extent of the fuel period as Muggleton will take the lead. 141.69 the last lap for him. Let's see where Kappa ends up. I believe he is still on the wets. He hasn't gone to dry tyres just yet as Jim, so he's playing the safe game at the moment. Maybe hanging out for a safety car possibly. Because now that we've got cars with dry tyres, is now when we've got the highest possibility of a safety car in this race.
Definitely. Just watch the attitude of Jim's car coming out of that corner there. Absolutely sideways. Great car control there. So, I mean, look, fantastic so far. 15 laps of 47 have been banked, and we haven't seen a safety car so far. So, look, guys doing absolutely fantastic at the moment.
Adrian Zeal is not pit yet, so he is fuel saving to save his life, or he's just got a very low fuel burn in the wet. Stoyles, though, who pit on lap 14, has actually gotten past Halil Cesar, but I do believe Cesar is on dries and Stoyles is on wet tyres, so maybe Cesar just struggled in the traffic there for a while, where Stoyles could just push on.
I think that's, you know, like I was saying before, I might have been a little bit of cork in the bottle towards the earlier section of the start of the race, but you know, you can see these guys in this pack at the moment fighting each other and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they've been bottled up a little bit, and once you see them released, they'll push forward. Big move here by O'Brien.
Big buff send by O'Brien up the inside of Haynes.
Great move.
That is a
It's
great
just placed
move.
Haynes.
Oh, it has
And he's-
off the
and he's
track,
gonna
and
look
he's
around
on.
it.
He's on dries as well. Simon's on dries, and he's off the track, so he's got to try and
that's gonna hurt him.
tippy toe this car back on. That's going to hurt him in comparison to Randall, who we saw him battling with. Simon took a bit of extra fuel in the stop over Shane, so he was going to have a natural gain on him in the pit stop. That is now not going to be the case, as Todd Duggan has had a moment off track with Jason Fewens up there at the top of the hill, at the midpoint of the
Dealing
circuit,
pits.
as Adrian comes in.
And Vandermeulen just done a faster lap of the race, a 140.
Oh, Bretton's on dries. Okay. Okay then. So Bretton O'Brien is on dries. He just managed to pick the line correctly through that corner, which is good to see. We know that Bretton's been a real strategic master this season. Has won the Driver of the Day award this season as well.
Looks like he's driving very confidently too. You can just see by
He
the
is.
attitude of the car. He's putting it where he wants to put it, and he's making very positive moves. Even up and on the back of Rick there, you know, you can see he's driving to the car. So, you know, like he's not afraid to put that car where he wants to.
So we are getting closer to critical lap territory now as well.
Pete Baxter just made a move there.
Yeah, Hedesheed's also just gotten past Cesar, so bit of gains here from Hedesheed. I do wish the replay files would give us the tyre compound so we could exactly know who was on which one.
It would be good, wouldn't it?
Oh no, as Todd Duggan's been off the road again,
Oh,
as Adrian Zeal
yeah.
exits pit lane. Oh, and you can
Oh,
see how
there he
wet
is
it
in
is
that
down
ice.
there. I
Oh.
have a feeling that Todd is on those dries, and he's found the
Yeah.
puddle right on the exit there. And it is, as soon as you're out on that AstroTurf, it is,
Oh.
as you said, it's like ice.
Yeah,
As-
it's brutal.
As
Absolutely
Hedesheed
brutal.
gets up there, critical output is that. It's when you can make it home on a full tank of fuel, Matt.
You see, he just clipped the inside of that ripple strip then, and I think the car shot to the right and just missed the front of Storzy.
Sorry, we're getting more and more cars off track. Rick Weiger just rejoining ahead of Mikey Harland as well. So, yeah, you have a feeling now, Brett, that it's the electricity is really going up, and that one more off
Pressure
track
cooker.
could definitely lead to a safety car here. I know we went Kelvin. We went to Kelvin and Scoville last week. We didn't get to Chernobyl reactor number 4, but it was definitely pressure building last week. As Todd Duggan is off the road at the top of the hill. So that
He's
top of
gotta
the
come
hill
back.
there, we mentioned it though. That was going to be one of the tougher corners in the wet,
Yeah.
especially on these slick tyres. And you can see the puddle on the inside at the two corners prior. It is such a tough section of track up there at turn 10 and even up at turn 8 as well. So drivers are... Muggleton is game going that wide on dry tyres. He is very game doing that.
There wasn't a bad amount of grip out there, but I'll tell you what, you just, you know, anytime you got onto that icy stuff, the car just reacted straight away. So you're just trying to avoid it altogether. Here we see, it's a bit of the tap the rear end. Still together.
Cesar,
What are we going to do here? This was a tricky section of the track coming down here because the car all of a sudden would just snap sideways on you too if you didn't watch it coming through that section of the track.
Yeah, it's... Oh, the battles are so... And you just know, Brett, that like, as we said, one car off track could lead to a safety car, and the battle is intense. I mean, it's... Hopefully, if we do get an incident where drivers have tried to go for it on the wet line and they're on slicks, that they learn quickly that you can't do that. Because otherwise we may get, and you know, as I said, a nuclear disaster on our hands.
Run wide, Weston running a little bit wide, Clifton going for a move on the inside. And I nearly tried to take it 3 wide.
Yeah, trying to find a channel to swim through there.
Yeah. Let's go, boys.
As I've just seen, Tim Mulford's been off track, and he's off track down at turn 4, as is Todd Duggan. And this
Duggan's
is big damage, and this could be a safety car because these guys are, even though they're off the road, it's a tough spot down there. Watch for cars to come into pit lane, as that I think was Blanchard off the track as well.
Oh, another car there.
Yep, Rushworth's in. The safety car is out. So it is safety car number 1 for the evening here of Split 2, as Todd Duggan needs a tow back to pits. So we need to watch now. Does Muggleton come in? Or is he going to stay out? This could be a mistake if he doesn't. He is going to stay out on track. Oh no, this could be a massive
Yeah.
mistake from Muggleton because the safety car is waiting to pick up the leader at the moment as Rushworth just exits pit lane.
Yeah, I myself, I just thought, let's get the second pit stop done, fuel her up, let's and just hang on, let's get back out in the field and let's go for it. But what I was going to say before too, just with the track drying, so you've got that dry line on the track. Everyone's going to dry tyre, so the lap times are coming down. So you're feeling that enthusiasm of, we're getting faster, and I think that also breeds that little bit of, gameness to sort of attack a little bit harder. And I think that's where some of the guys might come unstuck, just from that pushing that little bit harder.
So everyone barring Muggleton, who is behind him for position, the cars behind him at the moment are a lap down. Everyone behind Muggleton for position has come in to pit lane, and you can see them all there at the top of the hill coming into pit lane. Actually, I don't know how I lucked into that shot.
That's a good shot. Well
yeah,
done.
it was a good one. Everyone is coming in, not only for dry tyres, but to fill up their car based on the fact, because I have actually got it here if I open it for myself, based on the fact that with this safety car and the fact we have some wave rounds to do, everyone's now bunched back up again. So you can make a pretty easy estimation that we're likely going to get another one. But mainly based on the fact, so let me zoom out, that the critical lap is lap 19.
Yeah,
So
right.
We were, we're right on critical lap. You could pit now, and with this safety car, you could get home on fuel. It is a long stint, but worth it at this point. It's a free pit stop.
So if you're Muggleton at this stage, knowing you didn't pit, you're stuck in the top of the front of the field, what do?
I think you just got to go. You just got to you either pit now and fight your way through and survive the carnage, or you hope for a long green period and you stay out.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're probably in the better chance of coming in now, dropping down the field and battling your way through than hoping for a green period at this point of the race. That there as he comes into pit lane.
As he comes into pit. Yeah, so smart choice. I mean, unfortunately, he made that choice. Didn't pit when everyone else did, but smart choice to sort of minimise the damage.
So luckily for Jim Caperonis, the lap traffic, or majority of so, is right ahead of him. So they're all going to go past the safety car, barring Todd Duggan when he is back out on track. Then there's Tim Mulford, who's right in behind him. He also needs to get his wave around as well. So barring Jim Caperonis, who's right there, all these cars at the front are going to get their wave arounds past the safety car, get a lap back. And the drivers now, this is paid out for. Number 1, Shane Randall. He's up into the top 10. Number 2, Dave Arney. He's up 10 into the top 10 thanks to this. Reece DeGoey up 9. And then Sean Vandermillen now in second place, up 8 positions. Those are the drivers who this has really paid off for. Now, it's also paid off for Jim, of course, as well, because Matt didn't pit. So Jim now leads. So that's also, of course, paid off for him. But it's paid off for those other drivers. It's also paid off for Ricky Hyde, who's up 16 positions and has done his 2 CPSs. He's in P21, so he's trying to fight his way through. Brenton O'Brien up 11. Matt Monday up 16 as well. So it's worked out for those guys. For Muggleton, it's not so bad of a loss. He's only dropped to P10. So
in a long race.
Long race. This was the better choice. This was the better choice than trying to go and hope for a long green period, because unfortunately you are never guaranteed a long green period long enough to get good gap, and this way you can at least battle your way back through, because Matt's got pace. He knows he's got pace,
and that's the advantage on his side too. So I think he'd be probably quite happy with that, knowing that he sort of buggered up that first section, but sitting back in 10th, knowing he's got pace, that's you've got to be happy with that. Sean Vandermillen done a fantastic job getting back up, getting 2-second spot from where he started. So he is really, Jim's in a great spot, and it's great to see Jim back up there. So hopefully he can pull this one through and keep his championship hunt alive. But Vandermillen looking really good here. moving through the field as he has. So he made some good decisions, minimised his mistakes. Cesar also, third spot at the moment, so that's a good spot for him.
Mikey Harlan as well now reads as a negative on the board because he qualified in P5. But because he had that pit lane start, he is up the order into P17. So relatively speaking in the race, he is on a positive. On the stats it says a negative, but it's not a negative for Mikey, it is a positive at the moment.
Oh, Mikey is still out there, so that's definitely a positive, considering you had connection issues and blinking and stuff like that, so you've done well.
So Jim Caperonis is going to have control of the field on the next lap by when the safety car pulls away. Vandermeulen on his heels, Cesar's there. Stoyles has done really well. He's had good pace in the wet. We'll see if that translates to the dry as Damon Fisher gets his lap back as well. DeGoey's up. Bales is still inside the 10. Arnie's up 11. Randall up 5. Monday up 16 as well. I think the one we've also got to keep an eye on is Simon Haynes, who's back to where he started the race, but he had great pace through the early part of this one. Of course, he probably dropped spots thanks to having to run a bit wide after getting passed by Brendan O'Brien, but for Hainesy, he has got good pace, so we'll keep an eye on he runs forward tonight. Pretty hard to make a prediction at this point, Brett, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, so much to unpack still to go.
Matt claiming there goes his hope of a split 2 title. Well, not really. You're still inside the top 10, Matt, and anything can happen in this race.
Oh, yeah.
You're a couple of spots behind the current top 2 seeded championship contenders in this race of Vandermeulen and Caperonis. You're ahead of Rushworth and Hyde. So it's not too bad. Plus you lead the championship coming into this race as well. So you're only losing points to 2 drivers who are able to challenge you at the moment. So it's not too bad of a loss and plenty of racing still to go.
So the driver's out on track at the moment. So we're poking along through the race at the moment. So we're not quite at halfway yet. Or we'll be getting... No, not quite yet. So what lap are we on? Sorry, because it's not on the screen there.
We're on lap 22.
22. So, safety car out. Track drying.
Yep.
A lot of guys, most of the field on dry tyres. Do you get the sense that the pressure cooker is starting to heat up a bit? Because, people, safety car, we know safety cars breed safety cars. We know that, a drying track, guys on dry tyres, races are going to race. So, what's going to happen? Are we going to see some cool heads or are we going to see some desperate moves?
I want to say cool heads, but at this point of the race, we may see some desperado moves. Possibly, I don't know. Also want to mention as well, Hoffy is still on wet tyres. He has not selected dries. For whatever reason, it hasn't let him select dries. So, so Andrew may be forced to race this whole race on wets. Hopefully that doesn't hurt him too much. He's only down 3 at this stage, which is not bad. Damon Fisher at his wave around has just had a big spin down at turn 4. So he's just had to fix himself up. Caperonis, though. He has. Caperonis, though, will restart the field momentarily. Damon Fisher found himself in deep waters there off the back of that one.
Yeah. Probably looking to someone throw him a line, but Jim's got the field under control at the moment. Where does he go? He's going now. Here we go.
Green flag.
A nice jump too.
It was a good jump. Good jump over Vandermeulen. So how long do we now last in a green flag period? As they run up towards turn 1, we're going to have to keep an eye from the sky because this could get ugly off this race start, especially if drivers are not prepared as Bales went for it on the inside. Muggleton's blown it up as well. He wanted to move at turn 1 and he's now off the track too. So drivers are trying to rejoin. There's Pete Baxter, I think it was, possibly, or Mick Clifton up ahead as Muggleton's gone round. Muggleton goes round down there at 3.
He's got it pointing in the right direction again, so he'll be kicking himself after that. Got a couple of guys, look, Reese going on the outside of Mick Clifton.
Oh my God, what a send from Scott Weston. And off into the wall he goes down at 4. The same spot that Todd Duggan needed the toe only a few laps ago, as Jason Fewens is also off the road as well.
Well, there you go.
Oh my God! Having to take evasive action there of Adrian Zeal was Jace Fewens. Caperonis leads. Vandermeulen and Cesar. Stoyles, Heddersheed the top 5. Arnie up 13 into P6. Randall up 7 into P7. DeGoey up 7 into P8. Fisher into the top 10.
Into the top 10. Look at me go. Got a gaggle of cars behind me, though. All very racy guys behind me as well.
I would say not just a gaggle. I think you've got a school behind you.
Ah, yes, very good. Well done.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. Caperonis just setting the fastest lap. I can't quite read. Is it a 38?
It's a 38.99 for Jim Caperonis on that lap. So pretty much a 39, basically.
Yeah.
As Lovegrove is under pressure here. He's just been passed by Paul Burns up ahead. Matt Muggleton. This is where he ended up after all of that. P25.
He'd be kicking himself. He'd be kicking himself.
He wanted to make moves early as Stoyles has been off the road. Sorry, so we're going to have to jump around here a little bit. I think that might be... That wasn't Bales who's off track then. Who the hell was that I just saw exit stage left? It wasn't Mikey Harland. Was it Derek Lovegrove? Nope, he's still going. Someone exited stage. Oh, it was Todd Duggan. It was Todd Duggan who exited stage left up there. So
he looks like he's slowing too, does he?
Well, this is now DeGoey. Oh,
DeGoey sideways. Oh my God. A lot of desperation.
A lot of desperation, and I mean, I think a lot of learning from this point of the race at the moment. Desperation's not going to get you very far, especially on slick tyres in wet conditions. It's not going to work. You've got to have some patience.
Baxter around the outside.
Whoa.
Can he hold that over there? Oh, a little bit of wiggle.
Yep. Harland with a little bit of a blink in behind them as well. Monday wants this move if he can. Harland wants to move up the inside.
Harley wants it.
If he can get there, he can't quite get there. Cullen's been off the road further back with Paul Burns, I think, possibly involved. As Caperonis crosses the line, he did set a quality lap on 39.73, but Vandermeulen, new fastest lap of the race, 138.93. And Cesar is right there, hot on their heels.
This is a fantastic run up the front here, and they've cleared the cleared Heddersheed by 3.5 seconds. So these guys were really pushing hard. Heddersheed, Cesar really looking desperate on Vandermeulen there. So he's really putting Vandermeulen under pressure. Jim Caperonis is over half a second out, so he just needs to sort of let these other guys behind him fight away. We've got cars everywhere.
Bales, and there's Blanchard. Oh, sorry, no, Barella making contact. So a multitude of cars as Lovegrove takes evasive action. And that's Peter Baxter on the side of the road needing a tow. Lovegrove as well.
Is that,
oh my God, it's going off up there. I think that's Brett Taylor.
There?
Brett Taylor, but you can see Pete Baxter. Yeah. That is a broken car and a broken heart, quite possibly, waiting for the tow at the moment. So
waiting for the tugboat.
Oh, Caperonis leads the way, but I have a feeling the safety car may be called based on the fact of how many cars have gone off, and it has been desperation hour at this stage of the race of drivers trying to find any which way they can around other cars, but they just cannot make overtakes on the wet line because there's no room for error at the moment as the safety car is back out on track.
Not surprising after all that. I mean, how intense, you know, like, I mean, people making little mistakes and people just saying, right, time to take advantage, and that's where all hell's breaking loose. You know, car just slightly offline or just getting a touch of the ripple strip or something like that.
Stoyles.
Massive damage on Stoyles.
Yeah. Want to give update as well. Andrew Rushworth has just had a drop. And he has dropped due to packet loss. There's Ricky Hyde as well. Big damage on that car, one of the championship contenders. Andrew Rushworth has had his second disconnection of the night. I mean, luckily for him, Brett, it's under safety car. So if he can get back into the session fast enough, he could still be on the lead lap. That is the crucial thing. If he can get this thing fired up again quick enough, he can exit pit lane still on the lead lap. We've seen Scott Gamble do it before and go on to win a championship in that manner. So Rushworth now needs to get in as soon as possible to try and remain on the lead lap as Taylor Lovegrove, Hyde, Fewens, Bales, Barella all into pit lane. No surprises there. Drivers did get 2 fast repairs tonight thanks to the challenging conditions. So they have got an extra one up their sleeve. I'd also like to quickly point out, speaking of damage, speaking of moves, Vandermeulen and Cesar are currently on a 0x race, as is Dave Arney.
Wow, that is absolutely phenomenal. You know, like with these conditions and the racing that's been going on, to actually sort of up to this point of the race have 0x's, that's fantastic. What I also like to put out is Hoffman's pitted again to try and get some dries, and he's had no luck. So I wonder whether the team forgot to order the dry tyres. And
maybe they. So I have a feeling here that perhaps they ordered enough for the team, and of course Mikey Harlan's joining the team at the end of the season as part owner and driver. He might have gone in there and claimed one of the sets for himself.
Oh,
and unfortunately Hoffy's then missed out because they haven't ordered him any because he's not in the team colours yet.
And Harlan's just taken it upon himself. Do you think?
Yeah, take some dries from them.
In there.
Same pit box,
yeah.
Same pit box, same pit crew, and he maybe came in and said, "Oi, boys, give me the dries," and they've given him Hoffy's set.
That might be a story we have to uncover. Uncover. You know what I'm
unveil.
Uncover,
I don't know.
Yeah. You know,
a narrative that we can sell as to why Andrew Hoffman's iRacing is not letting him select dry tyres.
Yeah. Yeah, well, don't the facts get in the road of a good story.
No, definitely not. But the fact that Mikey Harlan is up into P12 on dry tyres and Hoffman's stuck on wets, don't let that fool you as Harlan's having to come back in and maybe try and fix some blinking issues at the moment.
Well, so Harland in pits, and just looking back at Muggleton in 16th, so he'll be back up into 15th, 5 positions where he was before the last restart. So can cool heads prevail? So can he consolidate here?
Look who's
make this happen?
Look who's back and still on the lead lap. He just made it before the pit exit closed.
Back again.
Although I have a feeling if he'd come out a lap down, they may have given him a wave around. So he probably still would have been on the lead lap, but they would have gone an extra lap to do his wave around.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Hoffy's just saying that he reckons they got stolen.
Yeah.
So there might be something to the rumour.
Yep. I reckon the narrative could hold true. You know, maybe, they didn't want to take it away from Jim because Jim's in a championship contending position. So Mikey's then thought to himself, well, I might just take it from Hoffy. Get myself some dries, get out there and have a crack. Because, of course, Mikey pitted before any of them. He could have easily snuck in there whilst he was in there fixing the internet. Yeah. But he was fixing the tyre issue, possibly, of not having enough sets. So...
Yeah, boys, I'm here. Quick, put them on.
Yeah, exactly, Maybe that was the case.
So how are we going to go this time when we get a restart? Are we all going to be chilled? Are we going to... look, Jim's in front. Like, how good is it? Jim's got to be pumping the air at this stage. Vandermeulen close on his heels. Cesar having a great run in 3rd spot at the moment. Hedesheed back in 4th. Dave Arney in 5th. Randall in 6th. Doyle's in 7th. Haynes in, as you blink, 8th. Myself in 9th. Viger in 10th. That rounds out the top 10.
Maybe Mikey got his dog onto it. Little secret agent for him. Go steal the tyres from Hoffy while I run laps, and brings them back to his pit bay. Maybe that was the key. I don't know. Yeah.
Time will tell.
Time will tell as wave rounds happen. So I believe that there was Chris Blanchard getting a wave round. It was. Fortunately down quite a few spots tonight. Hoffy's locking up his tyres next week with a code lock. Yeah. I would say not a code, Hoffy. I would actually have a key wrapped around your neck in the car. So that way you have to hand the team the key so they go get your tyres and then put them on. Because otherwise, Mikey might learn the code and then break the lock. So.
Yeah, talk about new guys taking advantage, eh?
I know. They're really just cheating the system at that point. I want to give a shout at the moment to a couple of drivers up inside the top 10 through all of this. Of course, Vandermeulen, who started P10, he's up 8. Dave Arney up 14 into P5. Incredible effort from him and the PR crew. Shane Randall up 8 into P6. Simon Haynes up 10 into P8. Yourself, Brett, up 2 into P9. And then Rick Viger up 7 into P10. And just on the door, Matthew Monday up 17 into P12. And Brenton O'Brien, the sneaky little gremlin himself, up 16 into P14.
Yep. Some of the guys just sneaking away, just doing what they have to do. And I think that's the key, I think. Keep your nose clean. Minimise your mistakes. Get the job done. At the end of the day, you've got to buy yourself the ticket to the end of the race.
That's exactly right. At the moment, they are costing a premium for these drivers. They are costing them, you know, I know there are tariffs in the US, but Brazil, not so much. It's actually quite cheap to buy things in Brazil, but it's costing them a pretty penny because it is such a high risk scenario. It's kind of like having high risk insurance, Brett. You know, you got to pay extra premiums because you're a high risk driver. It's the same tonight. Not that drivers are high risk drivers, but it's a high risk scenario. So the ticket to the end is a lot more pricey tonight than any other week.
Yeah.
But
and we've seen it so far in the race. It's been pretty hectic thus far. You know, like we had those first 15 laps, 16 laps that were nice and clean. We didn't have a safety car. And now we've seen it all fall apart a little bit. So the desperation is definitely showing, and that the pressure is coming on strong.
And if we kind of look up around the top 10, big consistency pull in there. We look at Vandermeulen up 8, as we mentioned. Arnie up 14. Randall, Haynes, Viger, Monday, O'Brien, also top 15. So a lot of consistent drivers who have just kept themselves clean in this race, picked the strategy correctly, and they've naturally gotten their way into the top 10. So I'm not expecting, Brett, a safety car right now to be caused by anyone within the top 10. I'm looking more so to, unfortunately, the unlucky drivers towards the back of the field who may want to try and make up for what they've lost thus far. And that's nothing personal against them. That is just how this race is looking. And those drivers in the 10, they're not going to be as desperate because they want to try and hold position because they want good, solid points. Randall needs good points after a couple of poor rounds. Haynes needs good points. Arnie needs good points. Yourself, you need good points because you want to try and finish inside the top 15 of the championship. Same thing for Rick Viger. So all those drivers in the top 10, plus then you got your Caperonis and your Vandermeulen who are in contention for the championship. All of those guys are going to want to keep it clean because they don't want to risk their championship hopes leading into VIR next week.
Jim's put the foot down already. He's away. I was just watching, just had a look at the some stats earlier on Vandermeulen, and I'll tell you what, he has racked up a heap of bonus points, more than anyone in I think that's right. No, yeah, more than anyone in Split 2.
And so he's been one of the most consistent drivers alongside Muggleton as well.
Yeah. Jim pushing hard out in front.
Oh, header sheet off the road. Oh my God, Arnie, how in the hell did he miss header sheet coming across the track? Down the order goes header sheet. Here comes Muggleton in behind. He wants to move on O'Brien. Look at the gain from O'Brien already onto this battle as he has a bit of a blink there. So both these guys will want to go together. Skulls will want to try and get up there. What a comeback from Matt Skulls, mind you. Started on dry tyres and is back up to where he started in P13. An incredible drive thus far from Matt Skulls.
Just header sheet to get that car back straight and going again like he did. That was monumental. He did a fantastic job there because that thing was all out of shape to next Sunday. So he's done well to his heart rate would be up right now.
Definitely would. It'd be like knocking on the front door.
Jim's pulled about 3/4 of a second on Vandermeulen at this stage, so he's really going well there. But Cesar's actually putting the pressure on Vandermeulen a little bit. He's about 0.3 of a second behind him. And then we've got another nice little battle pack behind Stoyles. So Stoyles, Haynes, myself, and Rick. So there's a few. Like we look at the tree at the moment. There's all up and down the tree. There's some battles going on. Obviously, just from the restart, track drying out, but there's still some danger zones on this track.
What a lap time from Jim Caparona. So 138.22 the last time by at the commencement of lap 30 of 47 at this stage as Brett Taylor. Brett Taylor, 18 laps to go because you've got to be inclusive of this lap.
Oh, yeah.
As header sheet as well is off the road down at turn 3, trying to get that thing back on track. And Rick Viger's been involved as well. So 2 of the top 10 are now dropping down the order. You have to argue that might be hopes of a top 10 finish over and done with for those drivers. As Clifton is now in behind yourself here. There's Muggleton, who's now gotten past Monday and O'Brien. So Matt on the charge back inside of the top 10 now. Great performance from him. That's a big slide. Lucky to hold it out. Here comes to... Oh, my God, he pulled that back at the right moment. No, but he's now hooked it into the back of Ricky Hyde. So 2 of the championship contenders make contact. And look who's really gained out of that. Andrew Rushworth up into P18. Yeah. One of the best drives of the season we are seeing from Rushworth. If he can get this thing inside the top 10, I don't care if he's won driver of the day. He might have to get nominated because this is an exceptional performance as Hoffy runs it wide, still on those wet tyres, but inside the top 20.
Oh, Muggleton, like back up in the top 10, and he's gone. He's done that. Like that's 3. Has it been 3 chances he's had to sort of get himself in a decent position, and he's thrown it all away. So he would be absolutely
if Muggleton can get inside the top 10 tonight, that'll be as good as a win for him at the moment, because if he can get back in the 10, it might not be as many points lost to Van der Meulen and Caparonis. But this top 3 continue to battle. This is good for Cesar because this would get him back in towards the top 6 of the championship standings, maybe even the top 7. Needs Randall to stay further back, though, than Dave Arney for that to really happen for him. That's fine, Andrew.
These 3 now closing up within under half a second. Van der Meulen off the back of Jim. Jim's run wide.
He's run it wide. He's got it onto the wet part of the curb, and the car is not pulled up and straight into the wall.
Oh, my God.
For the 69 Chubby Buns Southern Cross Racing entry. Out of the race lead goes Jim Caparonis.
What have you done, Jim?
Oh, now he's found the puddle at the bottom of the hill as well. Absolute heartbreak for Jim Caparonis. Could that be championship done and dusted for him?
Oh, he was in the... Oh, I can't believe it. That is just heartbreaking for Jim. Van der Meulen pumped in the air now. He's out in front. Cesar in second spot at the moment. So, that is absolutely heartbreaking for Jim.
Let's think about now, though, the gain that Van der Meulen is getting. Obviously, P1 on the road, leading the most laps at the moment. A 0x race, and he's up 9 positions. So he's in P1. So if he wins this race, let's look at where the other contenders are. Andrew Rushworth, P16. Ricky Hyde, P18. Matt Muggleton, P23. Jim Caparonis, P26. And I believe, except for maybe Rushworth, Hyde, Muggleton, and Caparonis have definitely had 2 droppable rounds at this point. So for Van der Meulen, if you look back at Sebring at round 1 and you saw how that race ended for Sean, you wouldn't pick that this is the situation he'd be in right now.
Oh, and he's fought hard. You know, like he's definitely earned the positions that he's put himself into. So
he's having.
I'm still blown away by Jim. Like that
it's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking for Jim.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
If he can't get back into the... Ricky Hyde and Andrew Hoffman, have made contact. So Ricky Hyde remains in the wars tonight, further back in the field. If he's going to get into a positive position tonight to try and be still within the championship hunt for next week, he's going to have to pull something out of the magic hat here.
Oh, we've got some stuff going on in front of them too.
Yeah, I think Mikey Harland and Brett Taylor battling away. Fewens and Zeal as well. Where is Mr. Baxter at the moment? There he's there. This is, if we thought Daytona threw some spanners in the work last week, Brett, and we said it threw every spanner in there, barring the 10 mil. I think tonight we finally found the 10 mil in the most weirdest of places, in a random bucket of water at the back end of the shed. I mean, I don't. Well, it's crazy how this can play out.
For some people, the bucket is leaking desperately, and for other people, the bucket is staying nice and full, and they're having a solid run. So, I mean, these two guys out in front at the moment, slightly pulling away from Dave Arney. So the threat from them now is just dropping away ever so slightly. Then back to Randall is another 3.5 seconds. Haynes probably the biggest challenge up there in the top 10. Apart from Mick Clifton on the back of Stoyles.
We've still got big damage on that car.
Big damage there, yeah.
Oh, look at this. Monday and O'Brien both up 20 positions in this race.
Yeah, that's huge.
Incredible effort. Of course, Breton has won Driver of the Day already this season. And I did already think about that, Zoe. So I think tonight, because it's excruciating circumstances, extraordinary circumstances, being that it's a wet race, it's a tough race, I think if Van der Meulen can win on a 0x, up 9 into P1, we're going to veto the race winner can't be nominated rule for Driver of the Day. Because if he can pull that off on 0x...
Have you checked that out with the powers to be?
I am the powers to be, Brett, so that... that's the... I made those rules. I made those rules last season with Mr. Gamble. So
okay.
I am the powers that be on that ruling.
No, I agree with you.
I think, I think it's, if he can pull that off, he's definitely going to be one of them. I mean, we are 13 or 14 laps to the end. I think at the moment, whoever can win out of Dave Arney, Shane Randall, and Simon Haynes, they'll likely get the nomination. If Andrew Rushworth can get in the top 10, I'm going to strike that rule as well. He'll get nominated for a second Chubbies this season. He and then who else is out there? Maybe Hoffy for still running on wets if he can make it to the end without having an incident. As the safety car's coming out on track.
Safety car's back out again.
It is.
What have we missed?
What have we missed? Blanchard's out there. Bales is nowhere to be seen. Fisher's in pit lane. Oh, it's Jason Fewens. Oh, it is Jason Fewens on the exit of the circuit at turn 4. So we've got a safety car, and it's for Jason Fewens on the edge of the circuit. So we're going to have roughly 10 laps to go when we go green again. So we are going to take this time to let everyone go off, get a drink, get a snack for yourself, maybe regrow some fingernails as well. We're going to take a small ad break thanks to Racecraft Simulations, and we'll be back when we go green. So don't go anywhere. Big thank you to Racecraft Simulations once again. Head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport if you're in the WA area. Have a chat to John and the team. Check out some of the rigs they got on the floor. Test them out for yourself. And if you've got a bit of spare coin, well, fork it out for that PT1. It looks absolutely spectacular. We'll be back, though, after these short, sharp messages from Racecraft. Big thank you once again to Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsor of the V8 Veterans. Been title sponsors now since season 18 of the Vets. As I said, head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport if you're in the WA area. Have a chat to John and the team. Check out some of the rigs on the floor. Maybe even buy one of your own as well, the PT1. It costs a pretty penny, but it's worth every single one based on what's on that rig and all the kit that comes with it. Is an extraordinary piece of gear. And I think it'd be definitely on the top of someone's purchase wish list at some point. They also do ship straight to your door Australia-wide as well, so you can order it if you're outside of WA. We're also going to shout out to all the other series sponsors too. Logitech G, long-time supporter of the Vets, as well as Parramatta, Isuzu Ute, Player One, SimGear, Nova Sim Sports, LGC Images, Sud Speed Gloves, as well to Chubby Buns Burgers for the Driver of the Day award. We mentioned a couple of names tonight. I have said we're going to waive the ruling of the race winner can't win tonight if Sean Vandermeulen can win this race on a 0x up 9 positions. So if Sean wins, he's going to be one of our nominees. I think at the moment, Hoffy said he has a Driver of the Day award, so maybe not, seeing as he's on wets and it's against his will. So I think the winner out of Dave Arney, Shane Randall, Simon Haynes will likely get nominated. Andrew Rushworth, if he can get inside of the top 10, will get his second opportunity at a Driver of the Day award as well. He's already got one, but we're going to give him an opportunity to win two, seeing as he's had all sorts of issues tonight and is fighting back and staying strong. And I think the other one is probably Matt Monday, currently inside of the top 10, Brett, or Halil Cesar, who's also on a 0x race in P2. So I think if either Sean or Halil win, we're going to give the winner the opportunity to win it. They'll be a nominee. If Sean wins, then we'll decide between Matt Monday and Halil Cesar before the end of the race of who would be the fourth name to go forward, I think.
Just regarding the PT1, will Racecraft take slicks and rims? Mikey Harlan just sent me a text and he was just trying to offload some slicks and rims.
Of course, they're scrubbed in slicks. They're not green. They are scrubbed in. But Sean Vandermeulen will have control of the field when the safety car comes into pit lane. The way things stand, so Vandermeulen leads to Cesar and Arney, Randall and Haynes for the top 5. Fisher, Stoyles, Clifton O'Brien, Scholes the top 10. Vandermeulen is the only championship contender inside of the top 10 at this stage. His closest competitor is Andrew Rushworth in P15, down 9 from where he was supposed to start the race in P6. So if he can make it back to P6, that's an incredible effort from Rushy. The next closest to him is Matt Muggleson in P17, and then Ricky Hyde in P20. And then unfortunately down 25 positions and back in P26 is Jim Caparonis. And if Jim cannot pull off the miracle of getting back into the top 10 before the end of this race, unfortunately I think it's highly improbable that he will be in proper mathematical contention next week. Yeah. If he's away, I think by more than 40 points, it's very improbable that it's going to happen, because it would take an extraordinary scenario for that to happen. The last time we saw such an extraordinary scenario was season 20 when John Gallen won from Steve Lanyon, and it would take a mighty effort from Jim, a perfect race. He'd have to win, and he'd have to have Sean, Matt, Ricky, and Andrew have an absolute concoction of mistakes and penalties for him to be right back in it again. But in saying that, he's driven a great season, and if he can get higher up, it may not be as bad as what we're saying it is.
I'll tell you what though, for Jim, it was his season to lose. I think. I mean, he's had the pace. He's had the pace all season. He's been there. He's just had some unfortunate, mishaps and bits of it. That's what happens in racing. And if he can just clean that up, I think he's on for, get himself sorted for next season. He'll be on for a cracker.
I think what is pretty much confirmed is at this point, with Brian Minogue away tonight, the top 5, barring that they don't miss next week and that they finish in and around the top 10, no matter who wins the championship, the top 5 I think is locked in for the top 5 and likely locked into split 1. The next possible challenge is P6, which at the moment it's looking like a battle between Cesar, Randall, and O'Brien. So those guys who were very, very consistent at the start of the season had a little lull in the mid period where O'Brien really rocketed back up the order again. Those guys are now starting to come together for a little 3-way battle for that P6 in the title race, which is basically best of the rest. It's like, I'm now, once the top 5 go up, I'm the top-seeded driver in Split 2. I am the number 1 of Split 2 outside of those Split 1, promotions. So it's there's a lot on the line for those guys.
Yeah, Sean Van der Meulen coming around. He's got control of the field. It's a shame that Jim, Jim might have be a miss if he goes up to Split 1. It'd be a missed opportunity, I think, and he'd be really kicking himself for it.
Yeah,
here we go, and Cesar's kept in the tow really well here. He's only got about a point through the second gap between himself and Van der Meulen, so that's a great restart there.
10 laps to go for Sean Van der Meulen at the front of the field. How little Cesar would love to take a race win here tonight. Van der Meulen, you almost feel he needs this second victory. As we said, he would be the second driver to get 2 victories in a season. His first was on Anzac Day weekend at Donington Park.
It's so jinxy already. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Keep going.
So his first race win was back at Donington Park during the Anzac Day round. He'd love to get his second win and be, as I said, the second multiple-time winner this season. The only driver to win multiple rounds is Matt Muggleton with 3 wins to his name. The other race winners, Sean Van der Meulen, Andrew Rushworth, Jim Caperonis and Trent Allen, have only won 1 singular race. It's a complete opposite of what we had last season with Logan Barnett taking 7 wins to his championship victory and the most dominant performance we have ever seen from a championship prospect in Split 2. Only closely contested by the likes of Rick Sibra, Matt Scholes, Stephen Grumley in the past. So for Van der Meulen,
have a look at Cesar though. Cesar is, and he's only just started falling off the back of Sean Van der Meulen now, but he was right in that pocket for those last couple of laps, and he was just sitting right there. So these boys are just breaking away a little bit there, and we've still got a number of challenges up and down the field here. Reese de Goey just getting past Andrew Rushworth and then back again, so they're side by side. And we see O'Brien there, was it?
Running into the grass was Rushworth. Oh, and now he's got Harlan on his outside. That there before was, I think, was it Simon Haynes and yourself, Brett? Or no, it was Stoyles.
No,
it was Brent O'Brien and Matt Scholes. That's who it was. Brent O'Brien, Matt Scholes. As Scholes runs it wide. And now outside of the 10. So this is highly contentious waters back here. Less than 10 laps to go. I don't think we're going to see another safety car tonight. We've already had 4.
Muggleton closing on the back of Harlan. So that little pack there, so Scholes, Rushworth, Harlan, Muggleton is very, very closely contested there.
So do we think Harlan holds him up now to try and help Jim, or do we think he'll let him go and let him fight with Rushy? Because both of those guys are trying to fight forward into the top 10.
A little bit of a balk there by Muggleton.
Yep, Harlan having a minor blink, so hopefully Muggleton can get past nice and clean if he can. There's Rushworth. Look at the lap time, though, from Van der Meulen on the last lap. It was a 1:37.82. Has he gone any faster this time by? He's got some fantastic pace out of the 9.5 SimSports Camaro. I've heard rumours that this is Scott Gamble's old car he's been given ever since Scott went back to ERT. Cesar on his heels at the moment in the Cooler Master entry as well. Dave Arney, Shane Randall, Simon Haynes in the top 5. And look who's there in P6, Mr. Brett Fisher. Maybe we were a bit overzealous last week in trying to run you for driver of the day. Maybe we should have waited a week. Try to give it to you this week. Because Matt Scholes is dropping down the order as well.
I I think there's been plenty of people with much better runs. Look, mate, I'm rapt with how I'm going so far in the race. But I'll tell you what, there's been some other drivers in this series, in this split, that have had absolute crackers. So they deserve it a lot better than I do.
Oh, look at Rushworth. He's back into P11 now. Only one spot away from a top 10 finish.
Muggleton 13. So he's moved up to this last lap. So he's got past Harland.
I think at this point, I mean, these guys know who's in the championship battle. They don't want to get involved unless they're trying to help their teammates. But I think the beauty is only 2 of the top 5 have got teammates who can help them in this split. You know, Muggleton, he's kind of riding solo at the moment for Old Mate and Sons. Rushworth, I mean, he's got his future teammate in Mick Clifton, but he's got no current teammates at Apex Esports League in this split. So Clifton may try and help him next week, and if Lord Mackay races, he may try and help him as well, knowing that they're going to be teammates next season, just to try and give him a boost towards going to split 1 for season 24. So we may start to see those connections happening on track as O'Brien tucks it up the inside of stalls at 1. Good move from him. Finally gets it past that damaged EWT car.
He's doing well to hold what he's doing at the moment with that much damage, considering the new damage modelling and everything like that. He's probably definitely been suffering for it, but it's obviously... Oh, we see... Is it DeGoey off?
That was DeGoey off. Down at turn 3. Rejoins the circuit.
Wow.
And that's now outside the top 10.
Yeah,
So,
Muggleton now in 12th. Rushworth in 11th.
So Rushy will be trying to fight his way forward if he can. Further up the field, Simon Haynes putting all sorts of pressure here on Shane Randall for P4 on the road. And what has been a fantastic fight between them.
Yeah, he must have run wide there.
Yeah, he did.
So just obviously trying to attack Randall at the moment, and he's just probably pushed a little bit hard and got himself out of all sorts.
Of course.
But he'll gather that back up again.
Of course, next season Shane should have a teammate with him for the first time in Split 2 in quite a while, with Ray Smith projected to come up to Split 2 after he's taken 6 wins in Split 3. So that will definitely help support Shane, especially with the pace of Ray as well. They should be able to work together up the front of the field and may lighten the load on Shane Randall here in Split 2. So that should help him. May even see them working together to try and get some podiums possibly next season as well, Brett.
Monday closing on Stoyles, so we might have a bit of a challenge here. Look at this.
Oh, gave him a bit of a door.
A little bit of a touch.
Oh, and he's going to try and redress. So that's now let Rushworth
and
Muggleton into the top 10 as Matt Monday's in the wall. Monday in the wall after trying to redress to Matt Stoyles. He's obviously gotten over...
Still got the car going.
Yeah, he's still got it going. He obviously had a bit of overlap with somebody, but he's into the wall.
Muggleton just had a look on Rushworth in for a second and he's backed out. So Muggleton is definitely on a charge. He'd be still kicking himself for being up that high, 2 or 3 times tonight, and he's still trying to, push himself forward from that position. So he'll be still keen to get further up if he can. Says a closing on Vandermeulen.
And he's putting that pressure on the race
leader.
He's having a hot go. He is. Cesar wants this. He's hungry for this race win. Is the TSM Cooler Master racing driver. Hot on the heels of one of the championship prospects, Sean Vandermeulen. If Vandermeulen can win tonight with all the bonus points that he's got, he will lead the championship into VIR next week, and he'll lead it for the first time this season. An incredible effort for 9.5 Sim Sports and the 4.51 entry as we begin lap 43. So 5 laps to go, and we know how intense the final 5 laps were at Daytona last week, as Stoyles and Zeal getting a bit overrun, and now they're getting passed by a couple of cars further back as well. So we know how intense the last 5 laps have been the last few weeks. And you have a feeling here, Brett, it's going to be just as intense for these drivers up the front of the field.
I'll tell you what, it's like putting a bag of popcorn in the microwave and setting it for 5 minutes when you should only set it for 3. And at some point, things are going to explode. And just whether you burn the popcorn or you just get it out when it's just right, we'll soon see.
So Van der Meulen, who has driven a fantastic season, this will be his 6th top 5, his 7th top 10 of the season, and his 2nd win.
Sorry, Muggleton still pushing on the back of Rushworth as well. So Muggleton's really turning up the wick on Rushworth. Rushworth would be wanting to hold that position.
And I think for Rushworth, I mean, this here, I mean, only 3 spots down from where he was supposed to start after 2 disconnections, one of them right at the grid time, the other mid-race, right as the safety car was called, to battle his way back through and get to a top 10 finish. This is one of the best drives we've ever seen out of Andrew Rushworth. And now he would have hoped tonight for a podium. It's looking out of touch at the moment, but top 10 is definitely on the cards.
Cesar just still working the back of Sean here. Sean hasn't managed to be able to pull away and run a clear track. He's had to be kept on his game, because I'll tell you what, Cesar is keeping him honest, and he's fighting for this. He's having a little bit of a look on the inside. Sean just covering off on mid-track.
He's
So
keeping
Sean's
him,
going to make him work for it.
keeping him honest and keeping him on his toes as well. Is Halil Cesar on the back of Sean Van der Meulen. Bit of a wiggle though from Cesar. That could cost him. That's a bit of time now that he's given up to Van der Meulen, and it'll be tough to really gain that back in this mid part of the course. He's going to have pace over Van der Meulen here if he hopes to close that gap back down again in the final part of this race. We can also see further back, Haynes is now back onto the rear of Randall. Big implications if Haynes gets past for that battle for P6, as we mentioned, between Randall and Cesar. And if Cesar gets past Van der Meulen, well, that's, again, more implications in that battle too. So, as we said, it's not just the championship fight that's on, it's the minors as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, coming to the closing stages of this race, there's still a number of laps to unwind yet. But I'll tell you what, there's still probably about 4 or 5 challenges on track at the moment that are pretty close and pretty heated, and have been going on for a number of laps. So the guys are really, in front of the guys that are attacking, have got to keep their eyes forward and not make any mistakes, because it's still treacherous if you get onto those too much onto the ripples. Some of them weren't too bad, they dried out, but as you can see there, if you went too far onto the ripples, on the same on the left there, you'll actually just step the car out. So you still have to be on ball. Here we go. Cesar having a bit of a run this time. Got a great exit out of the corner. Sean's going to force him to the outside. Can he do anything with it?
Oh, it's hard here because he's on the wet line and he's run it wide. So there's a smart play from Van der Meulen, tucked it right on the inside, kept half the car on the dry line. That forced Cesar on the outside and just could not get the grip down at turn 4.
And it's bringing Dave Arney back into the races here as well.
Oh, could you imagine if Dave Arney won up 16? I feel we may just have to cross out the winner can't win driver of the day tonight. If any of the top 5 win the race, I feel at this point, because they've all driven an exceptional race thus far. As Scholes has had a moment in the background too, but we got to keep an eye on this battle at the front, because it's big implications, not just for this race, but for the championship as well. Because for Van der Meulen, if he can win this one, it will reignite this championship fight. And as we said, we'll finally throw that 10 mil spanner into the works. And you'd almost feel you have a complete toolkit in that one then, now that you finally got that 10 mil. As we run up the line, 2 to go, lap 46.
And it's only bouncing between, just on half a second between the top 3 at the moment. So this is really going to close in to the final lap here very shortly, as we see Haynes still closing hard on Randall. So Haynes working the back of Randall here big time. So he's going to want to try and get something done in the next lap or so, obviously, or at any point. Randall just running into the onto the ripple there, kicking up a bit of water. Haynes on the outside. That's on the dirty side. Is he going to be able to do anything there? Probably not.
We saw Cesar go for it. Saw Cesar go forward on the last lap. He couldn't get it done. Neither could Haynes this time.
Yeah.
Muggleton sets the fastest lap of the race, equalises the 137.82 of Vandermeulen. So obviously it's gone to the thousandths, to the third decimal place. As you can see back here, Rushworth and Muggleton are now on the heels of O'Brien, Clifton, and yourself here, Brett. And what has been a great race for you. You're feeling the pressure. You've spoken about the pressure cooker all night. I feel that you may own a homeware store here, and you specialise in selling pressure cookers.
Yeah, and microwaves. just to bring the heat up even more.
Yep. Get a little bit radioactive, you know. Never hurt anyone.
Oh, yeah.
So as we climb up the hill, it'll be one lap to go for Sean Vandermeulen, Halil Cesar and Dave Arney at the front of the field. Randall and Haynes will continue to battle for P4 as well. Brett Fisher will try and defend P6 for his absolute life from Mick Clifton, Britton O'Brien, Andrew Rushworth and Matt Muggleton at the back end of the top 10. Mikey Harlan, an incredible effort. He's back up to P11 in this race from the very back of the field.
Clifton having a look on myself there.
He is. He's not quite able to get it. As we exit the centre S's, Randall and Haynes continue their battle for P4. Randall's run it wide into the grass. Haynes has now gotten past. Simon Haynes just tucks it past Shane Randall into P4 on the road.
For that.
In what has been
kicking himself for that. I wonder if he just saw him coming in the mirrors and just had a bit of a panic there. Cesar on the back of Vandermeulen again. He's tied it right up to about 0.2, 0.3 of a second. So he's really closing.
He's closing as close as he can get to Vandermeulen. He's got one more opportunity to get this Cooler Master car past the Racecraft Simulations entry of Sean Vandermeulen, and it's down at turn 12. But he's not close enough on the exit of turn 10. He's just there at 11, but I don't know if he can do it down at 12. He looks for the lunge, decides not to. Vandermeulen will exit the second or third to last corner technically, run it up the hill through turn 13 and up towards 14 and turn 15 now for Sean Vandermeulen. It's win number 2 of season 23 for Sean Vandermeulen. Championship fight reignited towards the final round. Cesar and Arnie for your top 3. Haynes gets home in P4. Randall in P5. Fisher in his best result of the season in P6. Rushworth got home into P7 with Muggleton in P8. Clifton and Mikey Harlan will make up the top 10 with Bretton O'Brien, Ricky Hyde up 25 into P12 with Reese DeGoey, Paul Burns, Rick Viger the top 15, Adrian Zeal up 10 into P16, Taylor, Lovegrove, Heddersheed, West in the top 20, Stoyles, Barella, Baxter, Mulford and Jim Caparonis back in P25. Unfortunately for him, I think this may be championship done and dusted for Caparonis, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, what a fantastic close to that race. I mean, you know, the top 15 cars, there was just action aplenty anywhere you looked on the track. That was absolutely sensational. Well done to our podium getters. As we see Cesar having a bit of a drift there, Mr. Drifter. But yeah, what a fantastic race. That was absolutely epic to start in the wet like we did. Everyone on tippy toes, and for the last 10 laps or so, it has just been action-packed.
Completely action-packed from start to finish here tonight. And we've got to figure out some Driver of the Day nominations. As we said if Sean Vandermeulen would win the race on a 0x performance up 9, he's in. So let me just quickly write these out. So Driver of the Day noms. I didn't spell his name.
It was an enjoyable race too. I must say, you know, it was a pretty intense race. You know, we had the weather, we had, you know, drying track. You know, there was a lot to think about and all sorts of stuff. But no, fantastic stuff. So who else have we got, Hamish?
I'm thinking Sean Vandermeulen, Dave Arney, Simon Haynes, and Andrew Rushworth. What do you reckon?
Yep, 100%. Any of those guys would be a worthy winner.
All right, so let's have a look in the chat, and we'll wait to see Any nominations that come in, we only want to see the names Sean Vandermill and Dave Arney, Simon Haynes, or Andrew Rushworth into the chat. We have got Halil Cesar waiting to come and have a chat to us as a part of TSM Cooler Master Racing. So we'll have a chat to him now in P2 on the road here this evening. Halil, great performance from yourself tonight. P2 on the road, 0x race. You looked for a little lunge on the last lap at turn 12, decided the better of it. Was that you thinking about Sean's championship, or wasn't worth the low percentage move at that point of the race?
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, no, you're right. I just sort of wanted to see if I could put a little bit of pressure on him, but really I was thinking about my championship as well as his. So that was the best drive I've had all year. So, yeah, there was no point taking that massive risk.
Well, of course.
Sorry, Hamish.
No, you're right.
Absolutely sensational race. That was absolutely fantastic to watch that whole race. And you were just, I know what you're saying, and I was in the same frame of mind, you know, being where I was. And it's probably the smartest move you could do. You know, like if an opportunity snuck up, you probably would take it. But yeah, definitely well played.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, like I said, there was a few opportunities in the race there, but you know, you got to really be there or not. Like, it's not really worth taking the risk sometimes. Sometimes it's just like put a little bit of pressure, see if they crack. And I mean, after that last safety car, we were doing almost quali laps. Like, you know, he was a little bit ahead, but I was gaining back, and we were seesawing. But I really thoroughly enjoyed that battle. The whole race was fantastic. I think everyone did a really stellar job.
Now, Halil, thanks to this performance from yourself, you are 1 point away from P6 in the championship behind Shane Randall, and you're 3 points ahead of Brenton O'Brien as well. How tight is this championship now going to get for you guys in the battle for best of the rest next week at VIR?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because like all year, I've had great battles with Shane. We've had a couple of incidences, but overall, like, where the championship stands right now, I mean, even with the other results that happened through this race, it's tightened the field up completely. So I've always loved racing split 2. I always find it has the best overall racing out of all our splits. And, you know, I just really enjoyed this whole season. It's been fantastic. My first time driving these cars, so I'm quite happy with my result.
Well, Halil, a fantastic performance from yourself, back on the podium for the first time in a while here in Split 2. Let us know, helps get you and TSM Cooler Master Racing out on track. Anyone else you wish to give a shout out to as well, for myself, Brett, and the rest of the league. Congratulations on P2 here this evening at Interlagos.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish. And yeah, so as you guys, you know, do a fantastic job in the broadcasting. It's been really good this year, guys. You know, keep up the good work. Love to thank the administration, all the guys that, you know, through Vets who put all these IDs together. They do a fantastic job. And my major sponsor, I've been with them for now 5 years, Cooler Master. Without you guys and Tony, I wouldn't be where I am with my sponsor. So, yeah, thank you guys, and really appreciate all the comments and all the well wishes throughout the year. So, thank you guys.
No worries, Halil. Thank you so much. Best of luck next week at VIR in your charge for P6 in the championship. We look forward to seeing how this battle goes down.
Thank you guys. All the best. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too. And next up on the road, by what can only be described as a landslide in the chat. I mean, that's the only way that we can really describe it. For driver of the day, it is our race winner tonight of Racecraft Simulations 9.5 Sim Sports, Sean Vandermill, and you finally won a driver of the day award. You did it. Yeah, you did. You just won it. You know, obviously an extraordinary drive for you, a 0x, as many bonus points as you could possibly get aside from fastest lap, up 9 spots, led the majority of the laps, led a lap. I mean, just a perfect race for you. A race that not only has reignited your championship, but has also now put you into the lead of the championship as well. Mate, how does that feel? Because that is arguably one of the best drives of the season that we have seen out of any of our driver of the day winners and any of our race winners as well.
Probably my best drive of my career, to be honest. I wasn't looking forward to the wet being the second last round and championship so close in S2. But yeah, just put my head down, and I can't really remember the race, to tell you the truth, because I was concentrating that much. And yeah.
It's a bit like that, isn't it? You know, it's pretty intense. You know, the wet start, the drying track. There's a lot going on throughout the whole race. And it wasn't an easy win by any means. You were kept honest the whole way through.
Oh, for sure. I thought actually underfueled too for my second stop, and I was sort of clutching the whole lot because I didn't adjust my JRT. I changed the setting in it, and it was telling me one thing, and the black box was telling me another thing. So yeah, I ended up with I think 10 laps of fuel to spare. But Hale there was keeping me honest. Don't worry about that.
Now, Sean, next week you will go into the final round of the season, 8 points adrift of Matt Muggleton, 21 points adrift of Ricky Hyde, 26 points ahead of Andrew Rushworth, and 57 points ahead of Jim Caparona. So realistically speaking, your closest contender is Matt, where if he wins the race, you've got to finish P2, depending on bonus points and stuff like that, P2 or P3. If Ricky Hyde wins, you've got to finish pretty much in the top 5. If Rushworth wins, similar scenario. And if Jim wins, you've got to finish within the top 20. And the other guys have got to finish, within the allotted amount of positions of you.
Can you send me all that in the text so I know where I've got to be?
I'll do a write up during the week for you if you like.
Thanks.
But
Jeez, mate, way to put the pressure on him, Hamish.
Well, and I was also going to mention the fact that myself and Gamble predicted Sean to win a championship this year, and this is probably the best chance that Sean's got because he's going to split one at this stage, and well, he may not come back, so he's going to have to become the next Jordan Ross to really challenge split one title. So I mean, at this point, statistically speaking, this is your best opportunity to win this title, Sean. But what sort of mindset are you going to bring into next week? Number one, and then number two, how do you think your new team, obviously of 9-5, with Barnett last season's champion, obviously Sean McNamara, you're of course good friends with Scotty Gamble, who's no longer at 9-5, but how are those guys going to help you get prepared for next week, and what sort of mentality are you going to bring to next week to try and take this championship out? Because I know that you want it, you're not going to settle for second, so what are you bringing into it next week, and how are you approaching the final race of the season?
Just going to do what I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 weeks. Just do me races during the week. Don't overdo it, and just every time I do a practice session, just making sure I'm getting quicker and cleaner each time. And the consistency will hopefully get me up there. I'm not counting me chickens yet. I want to get to split one definitely. That's my main focus. That's where all the other teammates are now. Championship would be nice, don't get me wrong. Everyone wants the top spot, but we'll suck it in the sea next Thursday, I suppose.
So not to compound, just quickly, not to compound any more pressure onto you, but just say you're aware of this stat prior to Thursday. If you were to win the championship, Sean, it may be the first time ever, but it's definitely the first time in a long time that a team has gone back to back as champions of Split 2. Of course, Logan won it last season. You could win it this season, and I'm not going to hold my head on it could be the first time ever, but definitely the first time for a long, long time. It hasn't happened since I started broadcasting vets. Not only for yourself but for your team, it could be quite a big deal to get that little tip of the hat next to it of it's the only team to go back to back of a Split 2 championship. It's a tough one to get, especially because drivers get promoted, and if it's the only driver in your team in that split gets promoted the season before, unless a driver gets demoted, it's impossible for your team to go back to back. So it's a pretty fair effort if you can pull that off.
Very nice with the team. Like we're training with Justin and Logan. We push each other, so one will get quicker, and then someone else will send a picture and go on quicker. So that's good training. Sean as well, you want something or you need some information or whatever, he's there, helping you out. Little training sessions here and there, it all helps, so I've done my best. I had those two, one shit round one, that was the worst round ever, I reckon, and then I had a drop round because I was away, and I knew that every other race to get in the split one had to be counted, and I think I've done that. I think I've proved me way in the team a bit. I don't feel the pressure now. That first round was definitely pressure. That now, yeah, just keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm not changing anything. Went for a walk in the bush with the wife today and sucked in some nice mountain air. So, yeah, start tomorrow.
So don't take anything that Hamish has said to build all that pressure up onto you into next week. Just do what you're doing. Take another couple of deep breaths of the nice mountain air, and just don't take any of that pressure with you. But VIR, how do you rate VIR? Are you comfortable on the track? I'm not trying to get anything out of you, and all that sort of stuff. I just want to say, yeah, are you comfortable with the track? Or are there things you need to work on, or you completely panicked about it?
No, I'm pretty comfortable. Gen 2, last time I raced there, I think I got a second or a third in vet. So, yeah, I've done probably 10 or 12 laps there. And, yeah, I'm up there. I've probably got to find another half a second, 3/4 of a second to be right up there. But, I'm comparing my times with some split one guys. So...
Yeah. Well, we all do. Yeah, we all do that, don't we? We take them as the benchmark and go, right, well, I know I need to be, within a certain time of those guys to sort of be anywhere. But it sounds like you got everything lining up.
The track, like all of them sort of thing with this car, like everyone sort of says, if you put your car in a position, people aren't passing you. You know, so if you can be up the front, qualify good, that's probably the most important things in these cars. Be clean and stay out of trouble. Yeah, you'll pretty much hold your position unless you have a mistake in the pits or something like that, or someone rejoin and makes a mistake, sort of thing. But
and honestly, Sean, I looked at your bonus points just before we came on the broadcast and seen 22 bonus points. I mean, that is 5 clear of anybody else in the series. I mean, that in itself is a massive helper, but also a massive achievement. So, you're obviously driving clean, you're obviously driving well. So I think personally it's, and not to add any further pressure, but it's yours to lose. I think, you do your prep like you have been doing. I think you're in the box seat. It doesn't have to be put on pole, but up in the top end of the field, consolidate and drive well, and you'll get there.
Yeah, I've only got one person to thank for the bonus points, is Scotty Gamble. He goes, you know how many bonus points you can get in a season? A shitload. Try and get them, because they're going to be the difference between a championship and a non-championship.
Yep, 100%.
And it's paying off, because if I didn't have those the bonus points, I definitely wouldn't be in the hunt for the championship.
Well, Sean, an incredible performance, pays off with a driver of the day and a race win and the championship lead as well. So let us know, helps get you and 95 Sim Sports out on track. Anyone else you should give a shout out to as well, for myself, Brett, and the rest of the league. Congratulations on your second win of the season and on taking the championship lead in the penultimate round of the season as well.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank the guys at 95 Sim Sport, Racekraft Simulations, RSW Graphics, Track School, Track Days, and Racing News, and you guys for the broadcast, and all the drivers that show up each week to make it what it is, and all the admin at Vets. Thank you very much.
No worries, Sean. Best of luck next week in your title aspirations. We'll obviously be watching with a very clear eye, and look forward to seeing how this plays out on track.
Don't moz me. Thanks.
See you, mate.
Cheers, bye. See ya.
Oh, there's no Mozzes on there. We're excited to see Muggleton's run. We're excited to see Rushy's run, Ricky's run. Jim is going to need a miracle and a half, but he's still within the fight. He's 57 points off the championship lead. He needs to win and have Sean Vandermeulen finish outside of the top 20 to win this championship for Jim Caparonis. Next
week is obviously the grand final of Vets for this series, and I'll tell you what, it is building up to be that. The pressure on all of the drivers throughout the whole field to perform, to get a great finish, to try and, round out their series. It's all on the line. It's all going to come to a head, and I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to next week. It is going to be, let me say it, a cracker.
It will indeed. It will be an absolute cracker next week. Hopefully, and I love foreshadowing. Hopefully one of our championship contenders win the race next week, so that makes our mathematics a little bit easier. We obviously have 2 days post-race to figure out who the champion is, and I'll be doing the work to figure out where drivers need to finish if they want to win the title race as well. Good old ChatGPT, and then put that into an Excel sheet. That'll help me. But I'm excited. Brett. It's been a fantastic season thus far for season 23. Not only next week do we have our final round of the season out at Virginia International Raceway. We get to crown a first time ever Split 2 champion next week, and so much more. So much more. We get to figure out who is best of the rest for the 6th position in the championship, the driver who would be seeded number 1 leading into season 24. Obviously, one thing I like to do prior to the next season, on the final round of the season, I get to show you guys what the season 24 thumbnail is going to look like, which then gives you a hint as what some of the branding will be for some of our graphics as well for next season. If none of you have paid attention and figured out by now that season 23 was based on the Chicago Bulls, because 23, of course, Michael Jordan, then pay attention for next week for season 24, because then you may figure out what season 24's colouring of theme will be as well. But not just that, it's also my 100th Vets race broadcast next week, so I am very excited. I'm very excited that we get to culminate what has been, personally for me, the best season of Vets that I've ever called, from the ups and downs, the narratives that have played out, the storylines as well. I highly endorse anyone, not just drivers, but outside viewers as well, to, when the final round of the season is over, or prior to next week, maybe on Friday if you've got spare time, or even on Saturday during the day, watch the first 9 rounds of the season, and then come in and watch round 10. And you will then see and get a finale, of pure cinema for what this championship has been. It has been absolutely incredible, and I'm excited because next week, as you said, Brett's going to be a cracker.
Yeah,
the pressure's going to be on. It's going to be on from all angles, not just for the championship contenders. For yourself, you're only, I think, a point away from the top 10. So you want to get into the top. You could get into the top 10 of the championship, Brett.
That'd be huge.
The pressure for my team, for Shane wanting to get a P6 in the championship, with Cesar and O'Brien so closely contested with him. Even across all the other splits, the pressure's on for drivers as well. It is going to be a massive end to the season. So we want to give thanks to everyone who's joined us thus far this season. Everyone who's watched along with us as well, Brett.
Before you sign out, mate, it seems it's your 100th race call next week. Can we see a minute of a collage of your calls from this series, like a little highlight reel of hyped up moments?
If you can find someone, to do it, Brett, I will be happy to play that. I unfortunately do not have the time or patience to go back and watch season 14 footage of my broadcasting. Pretty much anything prior to like season 16 or season 17, I don't touch anymore. I don't go back and watch.
Well, even just this series, series.
Maybe
season 23.
Maybe we'll make one. I don't know, but it seems a bit garish for the person whose 100th call it is to make it themselves. I feel like it would only be special if someone else did it, but that's up to them if someone else wanted to do it. But it's been fantastic thus far with Vets. To go 99 broadcasts has been incredible across a couple of different co-hosts with me across the way for a long period of time. I did it on my own in Split 2. It's been fantastic. The drivers have been fantastic as well, and we're going to end out, in my opinion, the best season of Split 2 ever in Vets next week, and it's going to be absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait for it. So big shout out though goes out to all of our series sponsors. Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsor of the Vets, been a long time sponsor of the Vets since season 18 as title sponsors. Logitech G, Paramount Isuzu, Player One Sim Gear, those guys have been around for a long time. Same with Nova Sim Sports as well. Soot Speed Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for the Driver of the Day award. Tonight it went the way of Sean Vandermeulen. Next week we'll crown the final one for season 23. As I said, a big thank you to everyone who's watched along with us all season long. If you've watched over on the Infinity Broadcasting channel, I really, really appreciate it. And if you could hit the like button, the subscribe bell icon on that channel, be really appreciative as well. We've got our second season of Porsche Cups coming your way in a couple of weeks' time, as well as our first season of our ARCA series, the Rod Knock Cup as well. There are a couple of vets drivers who've signed up. Sign up for those series are open as well over on Infinity Broadcasting, so come along, have a race with us and see what happens. For vets, sign-ups are open for season 24 as well, so get out there, get your sign-ups in. Sign-ups are open for season 24 of vets, so you want to get them in. There's new merch that's been launched as well, custom hoodies, shirts, anything you wish. You can all find it in the merchandise channel of the Vets Discord. Get your orders in as well from LGC Images. Be sure to hit the like button. Oh, hang on.
Slick tyres.
Yes,
going
yes,
on
yes.
there as well.
Mikey, Heike Marland is selling some slick tyres in the merchandise section as well. So keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, because it helps support the vets, helps supports every single split 2, from split 2 to split 3 to split 4. Go subscribe to the SimSpeed channel to get the split 1 action live on Thursday night, as well as all their other series that they broadcast too. But I've been Hamish Munro Brett Fisher alongside. Appreciate everyone's time. Appreciate everyone being here once again. I also wanted to say, before we head off tonight, thank you for your support on the series, watching us along your journey. May you rest in peace, Dane Palmer. Until next time, guys. Good night.
Can't wait to hear those engines roar. Hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. They're gonna roll. Ooh, they're gonna roll.
The racing series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In this sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's just say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun. Introducing the Rackraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with the 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.